Mountain, Brian Zielinski, and Robert Bringley, and just excited to have them talk about their firm and what they could potentially do for Geneseo and our upcoming project. I'm gonna walk a clicker.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All right, well, we just wanted to start by thanking you, the district and the board, for having us out. I'm Ted Mountain with SEI Design Group. We're based in Rochester. I've been doing K-12 schools for 30 years, and that's my primary focus. And right now I'm currently working in a district close to you, Mount Morris. And we are excited to show you our brief presentation tonight.
I'm Brian Zielinski. I'm one of the founding partners of SEI Design Group. A little bit about me, I like to share that I started in trades. I came through construction management. I am schooled as architect. Came back around to architecture and started SEI in 2006.
Bob Bringley, Marathon Engineering. Our firm was started in 2008. I've been practicing civil engineering. Civil engineering has to do anything other than buildings. Structural engineers are involved with buildings, but civil engineering allows you to build a building. Gives you all the support and infrastructure. So our firm is a 17-person firm. We started our firm in 2008, and right now we have a small office in Ithaca, and we're just excited to be here and look forward to the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, along with us, you get an entire team. We are not an SEI of a full service. In other words, our engineering, site civil, and all the rest are not within our company. We have put together a team here. Kyle would be the project manager on our team. You see Becky here on interiors, Bruce Keeley from EC4B. You see Bob, a structural individual, Dave Finkbeiner, and Chris Lopez on environmental. I'm going to share a little bit more about this and why this. I'm going to get into a little bit about experience, size, what we are and why we are. SEI right now is about 49 people as of yesterday, 50. We're continuing to grow. We're growing on a nice, steady, planned pace. We've done that very, very purposefully. We're not a small firm anymore. We're not a large firm. We've decided to create that because within our understanding of the way a firm should work is that you should have a principal involved in every aspect of the business. So our project manager is a project manager. But unlike other firms with project management, Ted will always be on your project. He will be at your meetings. He will be at your board meetings. He will be there during presentations, interventions with team members, all that kind of good stuff. I have a skill more in pre-referendum planning. I will be there. We do this purposefully with two, so that if at any point you want to get a hold of one of the principals within the firm, you have direct access to one of the principals in the firm. Okay? So he's with you the whole time. The other team members are built around you as a district specific to what you do and how you act in your size, okay? We learned a lot about you. We've been doing a lot of research. EC4B is a firm that's a mechanical engineer. Bruce Keeley, in my mind, is a little bit of an Einstein character with the disheveled hair and walks around with genius and talks numbers that I can't even think of. But Bruce fits to you guys very well in the sense that you're a large-scale building. You have multiple control systems within a building, multiple plants. Bruce is geared around working with those type systems with smaller schools and being able to work through with your building and grounds team on understanding that is more geared towards you yourself and how you function, trying to set you up for maintenance systems that you can handle, and leaving Tom with something that he can manage in the future. Some of the larger scale firms that we work with go in wholesale, do those types of things in a way that they always do for every building the same. Okay. Bob here, or Robert, I think is a lot of you know him. I've known him forever. I known him before he started his firm, and we worked together doing site civil, and he has experience here with you. And so it makes sense for us to bring somebody on that has that experience and knows a little bit about your district. So it's a little bit about some of how we set up our teams. Right here, 49, like I said, 50. One of our biggest pieces is we do small projects from zero nothings to the largest this firm has done is $64 million, although I've done $100 million projects. It's a big difference, and we're not here to sell you that project. We're here to talk about you and solving your problems, your individual pieces and parts that you have as a district. I'm going to jump to this, and then I'm going to come back a little bit about that. But we're located in Rochester. We have an office in Albany. We started that way, and we went down to Binghamton. We are New York State only, okay, at the moment. We hope we'll keep growing, but we are New York State focused, and 90% of our work is K-12 schools. And now I got to learn to say pre-K-12 schools. And so that is an area that we work very diligently at. I'm going to show you this slide, which talks about school districts that we work with under 1,000 students. The reason I bring this one up, you guys are different than some of our larger schools. So we work with city school systems with 26,000 students. This is important because working with SED and state aid formulas, you guys fall under the guise of aid limits in many, many different areas. One of the things we do well in this arena is we know how to work within those aid limits, work with your program people, and talk about how you operate rather than how many students you have for aid reasons. Why is that a big thing? And some of the stuff that we're going to share and some big leaps of faith here and hypotheticals we're going to show you. Getting aid for your project is a very paramount piece of the puzzle, I think, as we all know. You know, you can only do as much as the money you can afford. And so by having this insight, we've done things where we'll split the program line, work with your teachers and show how we can do an elementary, a middle, a high, and get you 3 times the value of the aid rather than 1 or 2 times the value of that aid, okay? That's not easy. It doesn't always happen, but by working with schools of your size, we've been able to do that in multiple locations, so I thought that was important to share here. Just a few schools to share around things that we've done before Ted gets into a little bit more specifics. Lindenville, small rural school up towards Buffalo. They've done a nice little project, multiple projects where they actually started with 2 buildings and consolidated into 1. That was no easy task, and how we brought them together, and we redeveloped that project over a series of, I think, 3 or 4 projects now that we've been on. So that's a nice one. Marcus Whitman, a little further south. We started with the building condition survey, and we're right on the street now doing a bid. Something very similar, odd renovation, gym renovation, some running track pieces indoors that are all happening within this project. So something very similar to you guys, and you know, a good client to reference. Ellicottville is Buffalo, south of Buffalo. Ellicottville was an interesting little tease, and I thought we'd bring this one to show you because this was, they don't have an odd, a full-blown odd. They have a gym. They didn't have all the money to build all of this stuff. This is one of the ways that I like to show how we dig in and we look at a problem in a different way. It goes back to the gymatorium theory, right? But this isn't just a gymatorium. If you look, and it's a little bit hard with the lights, but these are seats in an auditorium that actually fold out. And this thing can flex from a gym to an odd and back and forth, and has really served them well and solved multiple problems within a budget that they couldn't afford. So that was an interesting one to share quickly. Mount Morris, right down the road, we did some odd renovations for them. We've been working on secure entries, and what they have, we did some STEAM program with these guys. And I thought it was very successful. We've been working through with some of their teacher changes to keep fostering that, because I think, as many do know, we can do our side, but it's very, very important to align your side on the programmatic piece to make it function well. So they're starting to really use that to its full capability. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ted.
So just some background on some things we've learned about the district. We came down here quite a few times to meet with the school, tour the buildings, tour the site. We know you have obviously one campus, but it's It's very well laid out. There's challenges, of course, in the elevations here, which I see as an opportunity. You've got, continually falling off grades, and that is a challenge, but it's also exciting. We can do a lot of interesting things with that, with spaces on different floor levels and having relationships between the floors and how we access the fields, and we're looking forward to that challenge. We know that one of your key components is keying in on instructional technology, and you're very cost conscious, but you also show a lot of district pride, and we see that in your facilities and the way they're maintained, and also in the fact that they're not necessarily just bare bones. There's a lot of district pride and graphics and exciting things that you've started to do around the campus that we want to continue and build on. Some of the project goals, and this is inside the building. Bob's going to talk in a second about the site. But we understand that these are some of the components you're looking at. Possible STEAM area, the gymnasium expansion. We took quite a bit of time and looked at the auditorium area. There's some challenges and exciting things we think we can do there. There's also some wayfinding things that we think we could look at in terms of improving circulation and building upon some of the common use spaces that you have right now, like the area outside the auditorium, your auditorium lobby, building on that. Pre-K addition, possibly looking at some outdoor classroom options, and general renovations that go hand in hand with any building project. So those are some of the things that we heard, and we're going to show you a little bit tonight, some of our ideas building on that. And I'll let Bob talk to the site a little bit.
So we were fortunate enough to be involved in your last major project, in renovating all the parking facilities and whatnot. And I take pride in that. We did, I think, a good job in utilizing what was there to save dollars and then make something that was long-lasting and give you a long service life. I also have to recognize the fact that I think that project, the person who really made that project work for you is that guy sitting at the end of that table. He did an awesome job just controlling the whole and managing that project. And I can't tell you how many projects I've seen where the design goes well and then the construction administration and that's where you get all your problems. And you need a strong person. Tom was that guy, and he saved this district a lot of money. So without that, I hope Tom is not too embarrassed, but we looked at then the Field of Dreams, which I think is a really exciting part of this project. I mean, the Field of Dreams is going to be an awesome facility to put a turf field there. You all know the problems you have there. We renovated that, but you have problems with natural grass in terms of it's a shaded area. It's a tough area to go grass. There's some fill material there, and it's used quite a bit. When you put a turf field there, you can use that 24/7. The worst thing that's going to ruin that field is the sun. Okay? So it's going to wear out because of the sun, not because of the kids playing on it. So it will be multiple use. It will really service the district well. And I think it's a good, really exciting, good investment for the district to redo their Field of Dreams. There's been some discussion on the material that was placed there. You probably know that's all in a fill. So when we look at that design, we would do soil testing. But the main thing is just to design for that material that's there. I don't think it's a major concern. I don't think it's going to increase your costs that much. We just have to be aware of that situation and plan for it. And knowing the history and knowing what's happened back there, I think we can plan for that, and that field will be fine in that location. Master planning, we want to do some master planning out here. So look at the concessions area. Look at that whole area and how it functions and how we can improve it. Even if it's not done in one phase, it can be done in multiple phases throughout the year. So if we have a good plan, we make sure things get in the proper location right in the start, and we design for that. Parking, parking is always it's a concern. everybody wants to park right next to where they're going. We know it's not possible. So, but we can look at parking. One thing that I think our firm is good at is organizing the parking so we get the most spaces for the amount of square foot of asphalt we're putting down. And even utilizing overflow areas, situations like that. So if we look at that on paper, we can provide for and plan for the future and how those facilities are being used. Another thing that was brought up was the baseball field has some little drainage concerns with the fact that when it rains in the spring, it rains every day. Now it seems it's getting worse and worse for whatever reason. So we can fix that, but baseball is always going to be a tough sport because they should put baseball in the fall. But anyways, you know, I think that can be improved, and we can put drainage under that system to make it work better. But as Tom knows and everybody, baseball fields require a lot of maintenance, and that's just the way it's going to be. But I think it's something we can address and we can plan for. So with the Field of Dreams, I think it's a really great, and I think the whole community will be excited about that. And I think it's going to be wonderful for the school. Thank you. Ted.
Okay, so this is the fun part of the presentation for us. We really appreciate the chance to come out here and take a look and think in different ways about how you might be able to solve some of your problems. So what I want to say here is that we are not proposing any kind of final designs or final solutions today. This is pie in the sky things. We know that there's a long design process ahead on the project, that we would get involved with committees and so forth to come up with your customized design. What we wanted to do here is show you a little bit about how we look at design in terms of we don't have a set process, we don't have a playbook. We're going to come in and listen to your concerns and customize our solutions to that, and we'll run through numbers of variations until we can get to the right solution that meets your budget and your program needs. So for this exercise, we did concentrate here on the the middle part of the building, and we wanted to show you some ideas around basically three separate areas: the gymnasium area, the auditorium, band, and chorus area, and then we've got an idea here for site circulation around a connector, which would be constructed inside of the courtyard. And again, these are all just ideas to try to solve some of the problems that we know you have. We're also showing the concept of a pre-K edition right there in the recess, and that's something that we included on this plan as well. I know you're familiar with this part of the building, but I did want to point out that we are right over here, and here's the courtyard, district office, the pool, and then the cafeteria or the two cafeterias around the kitchen. One of the things that we wanted to try to do is build upon this event lobby that you have near the auditorium, and if we create a new gym complex in the back, we would open up this area to extend that for events. And we think we can do some things with the pool wall and with the high school cafeteria walls to make that really inviting and exciting space. So those are the three areas I'm going to talk about: the gym, the auditorium, and this connector piece. This would be the companion lower level, as you know, down below the main level. And I just wanted to show you this in terms of the expanded stage is a big aspect, which is a small addition out here. Also, the two gymnasiums that we show here at the lower level, like they are now, but we've added on the corner here part of the addition with adaptive PE and also a STEAM classroom area that could be multi-function makerspace and look out towards the field.
So this gets a little bit into the aid piece that we were chatting about. Right. You can see we're trying to overlay non-highly aided spaces within the boundaries of the building and pushing out classrooms that we know we can get aid to the outside.
Yeah, so we know you've got some aid challenges, and as part of that, you can see that a lot of the space we're proposing is over the top of the existing school. It would obviously be easier to build a gym out separated, but we think the aid would be a challenge. So that's something we would have to work with when we got into the project with you.
Does that make the entire area a classroom area? And therefore aidable? Or?
The gym itself would, in this concept, there's 2 gyms pushing out. That would be 2 stations and 2 aid counts. You're right on the limits of being able to get 2 stations, and that's where we're going to have a little bit of a battle. But the 2 adaptive PE room and the steam rooms on the top are fully aided. And so that's why we thrust those out. We try to get that aid, and then I can show you ways to work numbers to help that.
SED's finally changing the aid formulas to include classrooms like STEAM.
Yeah.
Because they didn't previously have those included in their 1960s curriculum aid. This is just a 3D kind of massing model that shows you where some of the work would be happening. So you've got, you know, your great main entrance here, security, vestibule, pushing out the stage. We know you've got a lot of challenges with that stage, both in terms of the size, the way it's laid out, how it can function for multiple events. Storage is an issue, accessibility is an issue. So we're hoping to take care of that with this expansion.
Is that area that we can now walk down?
Right here?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, is that still gonna be accessible to walkway? Or
Right
is
through
that-
here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that gonna be gone?
It would be.
It would be accessible?
Yeah,
still
you
to
could
that
still get
door?
down through here, yep.
So it'd just be skinnier?
Yeah.
A skinnier walkway than we
Yeah.
have now, take out like the gardens and things like that?
Right. Yeah, we'd have to study that for exactly how much this would
An
push out.
enhanced, enjoyable walking path to the field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to, I'm not opposed to the concept of utilizing that space differently or losing some of the space in there. I just wanted to know if it was still accessible to that
Yeah,
doorway
absolutely.
and then into the building that way, or if we were losing that by adding the piece as you show it, that's all.
See, the next slide will show that.
So that's the stage expansion. This is the connector I talked about, which is going to be essentially built over the top of your tunnel that you're familiar with to go to games. So I'll talk about that in a second, and then the gymnasium area back here. This is kind of a blow up of that stage area just to show you have a great auditorium. It's very unique in its layout. Most auditoriums we work with in schools are more of a rectangle shape. You've got the quarter circle, which is a very cool layout and unique. We're hoping to save a lot of that back in here. A lot of it works well, but we want to expand out this way, and we want to take care of some of the challenges with making the stage deeper, creating an orchestra pit area in the front, and then these side and back stage areas would be used for accessibility, for access from the band and chorus rooms, for storage, and for you know, any of the props that they need on the stage that they want to bring in quickly for events. So those are some of the challenges with that, and we took a look at all your different levels. You've got a lot of different levels there that we have to take into account. The band and chorus room both have natural tier seating in them right now, so we would take that into account as well, and basically expand and enhance the band and chorus here and here on each side. So we propose to leave those in their relationship to the auditorium. This gives you another view of it in 3D. So again, we're talking about the expansion down here, but this kind of shows you three-dimensionally the spaces. This would be your event lobby at the top right up in here, and the existing seating area, and then our expansion of the stage would be in here. We think this curved wall could be a nice backdrop to your entrance that you've created now already with the circle. And we can get some nice graphics up on there to kind of greet people as they come into the events. So that gives you...
And know that stage is not fully laid out. You guys got some real challenge with viewing angles on the stage. I've done a lot of theaters, and actually in the process of building two right now. Sightlines are going to be a challenge, and so we would work with your drama groups, your vocal groups, your program groups to make sure that in every instance we can get as many viewable seats as possible to deepen your stage and to do plays full out. You are going to lose a little bit of viewing, and we'd have to talk about how we would make that work.
So I talked about the connector. So the idea here was we did a little brainstorming in-house, and we thought, what are some of the ways that we can bring people to events? Right now, you can come into the event lobby and go to the auditorium. I think a lot of people park in the front and they go down through the tunnel to the gym for athletic events. This is an idea where we actually build up on top of the tunnel. It feels a little bit like a tunnel when you go down in there. It's a little damp and so forth. The connector is right here in the courtyard, and we're combining a circulation path to get back to the gymnasium expansion that we showed in the earlier slides. But we're also creating a outdoor learning space in the courtyard here, and we are building over the top and creating an opening in the walkway right here where you could see down in, and you could also see up through. So this will allow people to see down into the lower tunnel, which will still be there for athletes mostly, but this will also let a lot of light in the glass and let light down into that tunnel, which I think will brighten it up quite a bit. It'll be a quite nice progression as you come straight through from your entranceway back to the gym this way. So there's some different ideas going on here. It would split your courtyard into two sides, and we did a three-dimensional rendering to show what this could look like. So this is actually looking back towards the entrance. Sorry, Ken. Back in here. So you've got light on both sides looking into the courtyard, some graphics on the floor. This would be used for circulation during the day, but also for primary visitors coming in for games. And then right here you see the railings, which would be down into that lower level to let light down into the tunnel. We've got three versions of this. So this version shows the graphics. This version shows the graphics pulled away to indicate an outdoor seating area that we think could be an outdoor classroom section there. And that can help us with aid as well as we work through SED. And also there could be during the day function where there could be small breakout spaces as part of this connector, which can be used for small groups, and that might also help us with the aid piece of this addition inside the courtyard. So it was an exciting study to look at, and we appreciate given the chance to do that. Back into the gymnasium. So there's a few ideas going on here. We've got an expanded secondary gym here with bleacher seating. We've got an expanded main gym here with seating. We're also proposing the idea of an indoor track right here, a running surface, which could go around the gym here at the upper level. So this would be at your primary level here where we come into the school and enter for the auditorium and the event lobby and that upper level. And then the track runs around, and it actually goes through the wall right here and comes around with views of down to the Field of Dreams, and then it wraps around a fitness area. So that's just an idea that we came up with, which we thought could be pretty cool for a new gym complex in the corner of the building.
So the connector kind of ties to this, right? Because we've moved your seating in the public entry up, and so to get the circulation path to come through and stay up and go right over to the gym, that's
Right.
kind of part of the connector up
That'd be
top.
coming from here.
It's a challenge, that piece. It's fun, but it's not aidable terribly, but it does make a nice connection.
Yeah, the connector. So this is just a 3D view of that gym, if it helps to visualize the track a little bit. Running around here, going through the wall. We could have glass from the fitness center into the gym, and then the track runs around the fitness center. We could have a lot of glass down to the Field of Dreams, so you could see that from the fitness center as well as going on the running track. So that's kind of an expanded view of the larger gym. We did some renderings of the gym, of what that could look like inside. Again, kind of pie in the sky type of thing. District pride, district graphics, logos, colors. This is the window up here into the fitness center. The track would be at the higher level here, So you'd actually come in at this higher level and come down into the seating instead of the way it works now where you come in low and come in high. And to show that track, we did a second rendering right here that shows kind of the same idea but from up above in the corner. So the track runs around the outside here and then goes through the wall at the end. You can see the two logos at the end here. And that would go through around the fitness center. So kind of some cool ideas. Again, just to throw out some concepts of the way we were thinking. If you remember the plan for the lower level, we had the steam area. And that was represented here by a concept of a makerspace steam room with 3D printing. We've incorporated green screens into these, a lot of movable furniture, electric and power and data that comes out of the ceiling, so you can easily move things around and set up the room in a lot of different ways. Flexibility is really the key with these rooms. So this was just a concept of what one of those rooms could look like. And then here's a view on the outside of this addition for the gym, which would be sort of a night shot here from the lower level, sort of from the parking lot in the Field of Dreams area. This is the stair coming down that you would have to get outside. This would be the windows into the track and the fitness area. And then we've got a similar set of windows here down in the STEAM classroom area. So some nice views, some nice opportunities. And we had a lot of fun taking a look at it and pie in the sky, so we appreciate that. And that is
Yeah,
it
we did
for
think
our
about
fun.
expanding the elementary gym too, the same way, so you can get your seating from the upper down in. But it's all budget, money, and, you know, maybe a phasing type thing.
That's what I said to Cindy. I obviously, in a perfect world, when the groups that put together these plans for us, which was amazing, had like A, B, and C, plan. Obviously, in a perfect world, $30 million plan is what we all want, right? And we want to make the space exactly how you want it and have everything for everybody and everything's perfect first time out. We know that that's not going to be the case. I don't think anybody will be surprised to hear that. But I said to Cindy, what I'd love to see, if at all possible, is a way that could be sort of, and obviously it would change over time, because obviously education changes, life changes, things change as we go along, 10 years, 20 years, you're gonna say, well, maybe that space we thought we needed 10 years ago actually needs to be a little bit different, because things are changing again, what we need to prepare our kids for the future. But for now, because all we can do is think now and as far into the future as we possibly can, to build strategically, to say, we'd like to eventually see something of that $30 million plan somewhere down the road, 30, 40, whatever it is,
Right.
10, 20 years from now, whatever. How do we start and make the right decisions to then be able to build on that and not waste money, time, or space on something that 10 years from now we're going to go, well, that was great for that 10 years, but what we really need to do is what we really need to do originally, and now we have to spend even more money to kind of clear out what we did back then to do what we really need now. So granted, I understand that times change and what we know now won't be the same 20, 30 years from now, but I guess I just wanted to always be able to make a plan where we're building, where we can scaffold up, we can build upon.
We're showing you a lot of fun.
Right.
I know you can't afford all that.
Right.
One of the things that I bring to the table is the finance side and the pre-referendum planning and all that. And what we really try to do nowadays is get all our districts into a thought process of 15, 20-year plans. And I know that seems really far out. And I can tell you by the time we get there, it's never going to be the same. But in doing that, we have districts that we've been with for over 20 years now, and we follow an executed plan. That plan sometimes changes, something becomes more important than the other thing. But in doing so, they've mapped a strategy so that we keep moving forward towards that overall goal. That's important for exactly what you're saying, that we don't do something stupid that we're going to have to replace and renovate later. I will tell you honestly, sometimes you do some things and then, next year you get a mandated legislation piece and you have to deal with it, and we have to make a change. And you're going to live with that all the time. You guys will face that, and we do that, and we flex that. And I can tell you, I've taken open wall schools and closed them and then reopened them. So I can tell you it changes over time, but to have that long-term plan, we did the City of Syracuse master plan. We've done Churchill Childline's master plan, Spencerport's plan, Pittsford's plan. A lot of them where we're working long-term 15, 20-year plans that are working very well, but adapting.
Right.
Adapting.
Right.
I like the creative ideas that you put up there. And I think one goal would be to kind of have as much, if we do phase it, have as much aidable in the first phase,
Sure.
so it kind of helps the other phases.
Yeah, like the link, it's fun, it makes sense.
Yeah.
When we sat there, the first thing I always do is circulation. It makes the most sense. You can get right to where you gotta go. It's totally not aidable. We tried to put some teaching pieces in, and I bet you I can get you some money.
Mhm.
We're not gonna aid that.
Right.
So I know that's a future potential.
You know, Brian, that's probably the most criticism I hear, is having to use the existing tunnel, having people
Yeah.
park out front and having to walk through that tunnel, that's very rough looking tunnel to get to the gym, you know, and I think that's an awesome idea, and I really like that the existing tunnel would remain for, let's say, athletes and so forth, and how you open it up. But it really lessens the requirement for additional parking out back, which is what we were talking about too, because it really makes the front parking lot, I think.
So you talk about now, you would come off the parking lot through that, down the backside that showed you, that comes right out to the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Do a little playing with the concession locations, it kind of makes processional sense. That's why it came to be. You know, and we didn't think this on our own. We had a lot of discussions with Tom and with Cindy, and we came around and we looked at some of your stuff, so we had some guidance in coming up with this stuff.
Now, you didn't really talk about the pre-K room, obviously that's gonna be in the space between the cafeteria and the kindergarten and elementary area down there. That's, obviously there's a bigger space there, so theoretically, it could be possible futuristically that if we needed another pre-K room or another classroom added there, you could still add into that space.
Some challenges there, if I'm not mistaken, there's some site issues there that have to be dealt with.
Right, because of the, yeah.
You got a pretty good hill, there's some transformers and power things back there. Yes,
Maybe.
maybe, we'd have to do more on that to let you know that.
I'm just curious.
Is that piece aidable?
Yes,
That
the
is
pre-K?
fully aidable?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we take a look at the whole elementary section of the building and see where the best place is. We showed it there, but there could be other places that make sense that for the future, if you wanted to add another room.
So
We
here's-
want to take that into
We're
account.
so room locked. I mean, we have so little room storage, things for
Right.
addition, for OM to have space for their stuff. I mean, it's just so tight in the school to find anywhere to store anything. And everybody does a wonderful job of sharing their space when they can. So it's just.
So here's a perfect example that what you're asking too. We might say we got enough money for the auditorium, we think we can make it all work, but I'm gonna come back to you and our team's gonna say, we want you to build that pre-K room right now. And you're gonna go, but we don't have the money, but I'm gonna show you how you can't afford to build that because you're gonna get more aid to cover the auditorium,
Right.
and it makes more sense.
Right.
And your project's gonna go up, but the cost to you locally is gonna be a pittance, and it makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And people look at us like, you're crazy. Many times I can show you how to spend more and cost you less, and it's just the way the formulas work.
Well, and there's also a positive getting a pre-K into our building.
Right.
Just, I mean, just the
So you
optics
solve
of that, I
multiple
mean, the
problems.
optics of that for our community, for the parents, for incorporating those new guys already into our building and into our day from the get-go is, that's priceless too, there's not really a dollar amount you put on that.
You know, again, another good discussion. You might want the pre-Ks up front where you can get at them. We might think about those, renovating some rooms up here and building you other rooms
Right.
so parents can get those kids in and out easier.
Well, the pre-K room right now, as it stands, is right by that door that I was at, which is kind of why I was asking if you could still go through that area to get
Yeah.
that walkway, because it kind of walks right into, pretty close to the pre-K room there, so. If you had a door there, I don't know if that was planned to have to the door open, but.
It's boxes.
Literally.
We took some good guesses.
Yeah, right, but I mean,
Wish I
the
could
way
say
it
all
looks,
that.
you could just cut right through there, that would be the kind of the pre-K entrance there, you know, so to speak.
I know it's early, but I would like to see at some point, obviously, some parking options.
Sure.
There's a huge dialogue around safety and.
Yeah, we have an issue with the circle.
And that-
Some parking there.
Yeah, we've heard some of your staging issues in regards to how you stage and cars stopping in the wrong spot.
yeah.
It's been an ongoing.
It's
Yeah.
improving, it's improving, it's improving, it's a struggle.
Cindy has a solution to that, she told me.
My civil engineering background. But, yeah.
Mike
Might
has a
work,
solution
might
too,
work.
don't get him
We all got
started.
solutions.
We all have
Yeah.
solutions to
Mine
it.
is a little more cost effective.
Some more radical than others.
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more as more parents drive.
And kids.
That's, yeah.
Well, and we have a single day too. I mean, that's another issue. I think it'd be very different if we had, you know, if whoever came earlier or later, I don't care whether you say elementary or high school, that you'd have, could be half. Because you'd have the earlier drop-offs and the later drop-offs and the earlier pickups and later pickups. But right now, it's everybody, and the issue there is, as you can imagine, you know, the little guys, their parents want to watch them walk all the way into the building, you know, and the teenage parents of teenagers barely stop to let their kids out. They get out, go, you know, grab your stuff, be ready to jump, but that makes for a very complicated morning sometimes.
Like some of the elevations, you know, right now we've got a nice building that was built in 1974. We've done some minor changes to it, but there's nothing architecturally really pleasing, and I like what
Yeah.
you guys have kind of brought it into a 21st century
Yeah.
look in some ways, you know, I really like that.
One of the things that, I love this, the ease of getting, you know, from the front parking lot to the back of the building, but it's still like a long haul, and not for me, but like, I have a 96-year-old father-in-law and an 82-year-old dad who likes to go to the games, and there is no event at this place that is easy to get to for elderly people who have a hard time, from the Field of Dreams to the.
Could look at parking in the back side where they can come right up to the building. There's an elevator type function to get them close to Field of Dreams and or an event inside the gym, a basketball game, let's say. So there's an opportunity to bring parking all the way around there and maybe another elevator.
I
Your
think
elevator's in a weird
I
Well,
think
like
that
we do
whole
now.
spot.
Yeah, I think that whole idea, that whole back there is really never looked at completely as a whole. So I think there's a lot of things you could do there to really improve circulation. And yeah, you know, people didn't think about that, like how am I gonna get grandma and grandpa to the game, but they're your big supporters, so you need
I
to
face
take
the
that
same
into
thing.
account. We've done that at other districts too, where we provide for that to get people right to a viewing spot.
I have to scout for a father-in-law for every event to see if he can make a little deal.
Oh, yeah, and even the upper baseball field without access to a restroom up there, you
Mhm.
literally have to walk about
Yeah.
a half a mile
Yeah.
back and forth to go to the restroom.
Perfect.
Great.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Nice job.
Thanks for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.